He sat there with $50 in his pocket and a broken heart in his chest, watching the door like a fool. The woman never came, but someone else was watching him. A millionaire CEO at the next table saw everything. What she did next changed his life forever. Before we dive into Daniel's story, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, because you won't believe how this ends. And comment below what city you're watching from so I can see how far this story travels. Now let's begin. The blind date was a setup from the start, and Daniel Carter knew it the moment she stopped replying to his texts. 43 minutes. That's how long he'd been sitting at table 12 in Marcello's, staring at his phone like it might suddenly care about him. The screen glowed back with nothing. No bouncing dots, no, "Sorry, I'm running late." Just 3 messages sent into the void, each one more pathetic than the last. "Sir, would you like to order?" The waiter's voice had that careful tone, the kind people use when they're trying not to make things worse. "She's coming." Daniel heard himself say it. Heard how hollow it sounded. "Of course, I'll check back." The couple 2 tables over whispered something. The woman glanced at him, then quickly looked away. Daniel wanted to stand up and shout, "Yeah, I got stood up. You want to take a picture?" But he didn't. He just sat there like an idiot, wearing his best shirt, the blue one, with the tiny coffee stain he'd tried to hide by buttoning his jacket all the way up. In October. In a restaurant where everyone else looked like they belonged. His phone buzzed. Finally. But it wasn't Sarah. "Mrs. Chen, Emma's asleep. You have fun, honey. Don't rush back." Don't rush back. Right. Because clearly he was having the time of his life. Daniel's thumb hovered over Sarah's name. Should he call? No. God, no. He'd already texted 3 times. 3 times was the international signal for desperate single dad nobody wants. The couple was still whispering. The hostess kept glancing at his table. Even the bartender looked sorry for him. $50. He'd budgeted $50 for tonight. Money that should have gone to Emma's winter coat, or the electric bill, or literally anything except sitting alone in a restaurant that charged $22 for pasta. "Maybe just water," Daniel said when the waiter circled back. "And the spaghetti, the marinara one." Good choice. Simple. Simple. Yeah. Story of his life. Alone again, Daniel did the math in his head. 22 plus tax plus tip, because his mama raised him right even if she didn't raise him rich. Call it 30. That left 20 for gas. $20 to get Emma to school for the next week. They'd make it work. They always did. His phone buzzed again. This time it was worse. Sarah's Instagram story. Posted 6 minutes ago. She was at the Merchant, a bar 3 blocks from here. Cocktail in hand. Friends laughing around her. Caption, "Girls' night because I deserve it." She didn't forget. She just didn't care. Daniel's hand shook as he locked the phone. Not from anger, from something worse. The kind of tired that starts in your bones and spreads until you can't remember what hope tasted like. 5 years. 5 years since Rachel died giving birth to Emma. 5 years of being both parents, both incomes, both everything. 5 years of watching other people have easy lives, while he mopped floors and counted pennies, and prayed Emma never felt poor. And he'd convinced himself that maybe Sarah from the teacher's lounge, who'd smiled at him during conferences and touched his arm and said, "We should get coffee," might actually see him as something other than invisible. Stupid. "You deserve better than this." The voice came from his left. Daniel looked up. A woman sat alone at table 9. Dark hair, sharp suit eyes that weren't looking at him with pity. Something else. Something that felt like she could see straight through his skull. "What?" "The woman you're waiting for. She's not coming." The woman took a sip of wine. "And you deserve better than pretending you don't know that." Daniel's face burned. "I don't know what you're talking about." "You've checked your phone 17 times in the last 20 minutes. You're wearing a shirt that's been ironed, but not quite right. There's a stain on your collar you tried to hide. You ordered the cheapest thing on the menu after sitting here long enough for everyone to know you've been stood up. She set down her glass. I'm not judging. I'm observing. Well, observe someone else. I could. She tilted her head. But then I'd miss watching you die inside. It's fascinating, actually, the way you keep hoping she'll walk through that door. Daniel's jaw clenched. Who are you? Victoria. She didn't offer her hand, just said her name like it explained everything. And you are. He should have ignored her, should have told her to mind her own business. But something about the way she said it, direct, honest, not mean, but not soft either, cut through every defense he had. Daniel? Well, Daniel, stop checking your phone. She's already moved on. You should too. You don't know anything about me. I know you're a father. Victoria nodded at his keychain on the table. The homemade one Emma made last Christmas with beads and yarn. I know you're working class. Those hands aren't from pushing paper. I know this date mattered to you because you're wearing cologne that doesn't match the rest of your clothes, which means you borrowed it. And I know she's not worth the $50 you brought tonight. Daniel stared at her. How did you... You counted out exact bills before putting your wallet away. Twice. Victoria turned back to her own table. Eat your pasta when it comes. Then go home to your kid. This restaurant isn't worth your dignity. Before Daniel could respond, she dismissed him. Just like that. Turned away and picked up her phone, like he'd stopped existing. The pasta arrived 5 minutes later. Daniel stared at it. $22 on a plate. His stomach growled, but his throat felt tight. He picked up his fork. Put it down. Picked it up again. His phone buzzed. Sarah. Hey, sorry, can't make it tonight. Something came up. Rain check. 5 words. Not even a real apology. Just 5 words that confirmed everything Victoria had said. He wasn't worth the effort. He never was. Daniel started typing. Sure, no problem. Deleted it. Typed, hope everything's okay. Deleted that too. Finally just turned off his phone and stabbed his fork into the spaghetti. It tasted like nothing. He was halfway through when the waiter appeared with something Daniel hadn't ordered. A bowl of soup. Minestrone. I didn't order this. Compliments of table 9. The waiter nodded toward Victoria, who wasn't looking at Daniel anymore. She was reading something on her phone, completely absorbed. Daniel's first instinct was to refuse. Send it back. Tell her to keep her charity. But his pride was already bleeding out on the floor, and the soup smelled good, and Emma needed him to save every penny he could. He ate the soup. It was better than the pasta. When Victoria stood to leave, she stopped at his table. Up close, she was taller than he expected. Her perfume smelled expensive, like the kind of life Daniel only saw in commercials. The soup's good here, better than the pasta. She said it casual, like they were friends. Why'd you do that? Daniel's voice came out rougher than he meant. Because you looked like you needed a reminder. Reminder of what? That you're not invisible. Victoria pulled out a business card and set it on his table. Life's hard enough without thinking nobody sees you. I don't need your pity. It's not pity. It's acknowledgement. She adjusted her purse. There's a difference. What's the difference? Pity is poor you. Acknowledgement is, I see you. Victoria met his eyes. If you ever need someone to see you again, call me. Then she walked out. Daniel sat there holding her card. Victoria Sterling CEO, Sterling Global Enterprises. A phone number. An email address. Nothing else. The couple 2 tables over was feeding each other dessert now. Across the restaurant, an old man got down on one knee. The woman he was proposing to started crying. Everyone clapped. Daniel felt like a ghost watching the living. He paid his bill with exact change. $28.67. Left a $5 tip because the waiter had been kind. That left him with $16.33 for the week. $16.33 between Emma and hunger. Outside, the October air bit through his jacket. His car was parked 3 blocks away because parking near Newbury Street cost more than his dinner. Daniel walked fast, hands in pockets, trying not to think about Sarah at the merchant. Sarah laughing with her friends. Sarah who never planned to show up. His phone buzzed one more time. Sarah, "You're a great guy, Daniel. You'll find someone perfect for you." The heart emoji made it worse somehow. Daniel deleted the message without responding. The drive home took 23 minutes. 23 minutes of replaying the night. The waiting, the soup, Victoria's words. "You're not invisible." But he was. He'd been invisible for 5 years. Ever since Rachel died and turned him into that sad single dad everyone felt sorry for, but nobody wanted to actually help. Mrs. Chen was watching a cooking show when he got home, volume low. "How was it?" She gathered her things, smiling like she expected good news. "It was fine." "She was nice." She didn't show. Daniel pulled out a 20 for babysitting. "Thanks for staying late." Mrs. Chen's smile fell. "Oh, honey, I'm sorry." "It's fine. Really." But his voice cracked on the last word. "Daniel." Mrs. Chen put her hand on his arm, the same way Rachel used to when she could tell he was breaking. "You're a good man. A good father. That woman's a fool." "Yeah. Emma kept asking about you. About the princess." Mrs. Chen shook her head. "I told her some princesses take time to find." After she left, Daniel stood in his daughter's doorway and watched Emma sleep. 5 years old. 5 years of being the center of his universe. 5 years of doing everything right and still feeling like he was failing. "Daddy?" Emma's voice was thick with sleep, her eyes barely open. "Yeah, baby." "Did you have fun?" Daniel's throat closed. "Sort of." "Did you bring me back a princess?" She always asked that. Ever since he'd told her that someday he might meet someone who could be her new mommy. Someone who'd be like a princess, kind and magical and perfect. "Not tonight, Em." "That's okay," Emma yawned. "Maybe next time." "Maybe." "Daddy?" Emma's eyes were closing again. "Mrs. Chen says tired is grown-up sad. Are you sad?" "No, baby, just tired." "Okay, love you." "Love you too." But after Emma fell back asleep, Daniel sat on the edge of her bed and let himself feel it. All of it. The humiliation, the loneliness, the crushing weight of being both parents and never enough. Rachel would have known what to do. Rachel always knew. He pulled out his phone and opened his photos. Scrolled back 5 years to the last picture he had of her. Hospital bed. Exhausted smile. Emma bundled in her arms. 3 hours before the hemorrhaging started. 3 hours before everything ended. "I'm trying, Rach," Daniel whispered to the picture. "I'm trying so hard." The picture didn't answer. In his own room, Daniel emptied his pockets. $16.33. Victoria's business card. His keys with Emma's homemade keychain. He should throw away Victoria's card. She was probably just being polite. Rich people did that sometimes. Made grand gestures that meant nothing the next day. But she'd bought him soup. She'd said he wasn't invisible. Daniel put the card in his bedside drawer and closed it. The next morning came at 6:15 with Emma bouncing on his mattress. "Daddy! Daddy! It's library day." 5 more minutes, Em. "You said that yesterday." Daniel dragged himself up. His back ached from yesterday's shift. His head ached from not enough sleep. His heart ached from everything else. Okay, I'm up." "Can we have pancakes?" "We're out of mix." "How about oatmeal?" Emma's face fell. "Oatmeal's sad breakfast. Oatmeal's healthy breakfast." That's what grown-ups say when breakfast is sad. But Emma climbed off the bed and padded to the bathroom. "Can I have extra sugar?" "A little sugar." "A lot sugar." medium sugar. At the kitchen table, Emma drew butterflies in her notebook, while Daniel made oatmeal and coffee and tried not to think about the $16 in his wallet. "Daddy, you look different," Emma said through a mouthful of oatmeal. "Different how?" "Sad different, like when you miss Mommy." Daniel's spoon stopped halfway to his mouth. "I'm fine, baby. Mrs. Chen says grown-ups always say fine when they're not." "Mrs. Chen talks too much. She says you need a hug." Emma put down her spoon and climbed into his lap, wrapping her arms around his neck. "So I'm giving you one." Daniel held his daughter and felt his chest crack open. "Thanks, Em." "Did the princess not like you?" "The princess didn't show up." "Why? I don't know, baby." "That's mean." Emma pulled back to look at him. "Mommy wouldn't be mean like that." "No, she wouldn't. So we'll find a better princess. One like Mommy." "Yeah." Daniel kissed her forehead. "We'll find a better one." At school, Emma hugged him hard before running toward her classroom. "Love you, Daddy. Don't be sad today." "Love you too." Daniel's shift at Boston. General started at 8. 4 hours of mopping floors before lunch. 4 hours after. Honest work. Necessary work. The kind of work that kept the hospital running and kept nobody remembering your name. By noon, his back screamed and his hands smelled like industrial cleaner. In the break room, he ate his peanut butter and jelly sandwich and checked his phone. No messages. Just a notification from his bank. Current balance $147.32. Emma's winter coat would have to wait another week, maybe 2. "Yo, Daniel." Marcus dropped into the chair across from him. "You look worse than yesterday. The date was that bad." "She didn't show." "Damn, that's cold." "Yeah." "You gonna try again?" Daniel took a bite of his sandwich. Chewed. Swallowed. "Probably not." "Don't give up, man. There's someone out there." "You keep saying that." "Because it's true." Marcus unwrapped his lunch. "My cousin found his wife when he was 42. 42. You're still young. I'm 34 with a 5-year-old and a dead-end job. I'm not anyone's dream. That's the depression talking. That's the reality talking." Marcus shook his head, but didn't argue. They ate in silence for a few minutes. Around them, the break room hummed with other people's conversations, other people's lives. "Hey," Marcus said finally. "My church is doing a thing this weekend. Community dinner, free food. You should bring Emma." "We're fine." "I didn't say you weren't. I said free food." Marcus pulled out a flyer. "Just think about it." Daniel took the flyer to be polite, but when Marcus left, he actually looked at it. Community Workshop Nutrition for Families. This Saturday, Sterling Global Enterprises Building. Free dinner included. Daniel's hand stopped. Sterling Global Enterprises. Victoria's company. He pulled her card from his wallet and stared at both pieces of paper. It couldn't be a coincidence. Boston was a big city, but not that big. "Just think about it," Marcus had said. Daniel thought about it through the rest of his shift. Thought about it while picking up Emma from aftercare. Thought about it while making boxed mac and cheese for dinner. Thought about it while Emma did homework and asked if they could get a pet butterfly. Butterflies don't make good pets, Em. Why not? They're meant to be free. Like princesses. Like princesses. After Emma went to bed, Daniel sat at his kitchen table with Victoria's business card in one hand and his phone in the other. He should just throw it away. She'd probably forgotten him already. Rich people did that. They had moments of kindness that meant everything to people like Daniel and nothing to them. But she'd bought him soup. She'd said he wasn't invisible. She'd given him her card. Daniel opened his email before he could talk himself out of it. Started typing. "Dear Ms. Sterling." He deleted it. Too formal. "Victoria. Better. Thank you for the soup last night." His finger hovered over the delete button. This was stupid. She didn't want to hear from him. But Emma's voice echoed in his head. "Don't be sad today, Daddy." Daniel kept typing. "I'm not sure why you helped me, but I wanted you to know it mattered." You made me feel human again. That's not something I can repay, but I wanted to acknowledge it. Also, I saw a flyer for a workshop at your company this Saturday. I'm thinking of bringing my daughter. I hope that's okay. Daniel Carter. He read it 3 times. Added a period. Removed the period. Changed acknowledge to recognize, then changed it back. Finally, before he could chicken out, he hit send. The email whooshed away into the digital void. Daniel set down his phone and immediately regretted everything. She wasn't going to respond. She was a CEO. She probably had assistants who screened her emails. She probably got 100 messages a day from random people she'd shown basic kindness to. His phone buzzed. Daniel picked it up so fast he almost dropped it. Victoria Sterling. Daniel, good to hear from you. The workshop is perfect for families like yours. But don't come Saturday at 2 p.m. with everyone else. Come Friday at 5 p.m. Bring Emma. I want to show you something before the crowds arrive. And stop calling it repayment. Kindness isn't a transaction. V. Daniel read the message 4 times. Friday at 5 p.m. She wanted to see him again. Wanted to meet Emma. Wanted to show him something. His hands were shaking as he typed back, Friday at 5. We'll be there. Thank you. 3 dots appeared immediately, then disappeared, then appeared again. Victoria Sterling. Don't thank me yet. You haven't seen what I'm going to ask you to do. Daniel stared at that message until his screen went dark. What had he just agreed to? And why did it feel like his life was about to change? Friday arrived faster than Daniel wanted. He picked Emma up from school at 4:30, her backpack dragging on the ground because she'd insisted on bringing every library book she owned. Where are we going again? Emma asked for the 3rd time. To meet someone. The soup lady? Daniel had made the mistake of mentioning Victoria once. Once. Now Emma wouldn't stop asking about her. Her name is Victoria. And yes. Is she the princess? She's just a friend, Em. But you said she bought you soup. Princesses do nice things like that. Emma climbed into her booster seat. In my book, the princess gives the knight soup when he's sad. That's a different kind of story. How? Because this is real life. Emma thought about that while Daniel buckled her in. Real life needs princesses too, Daddy. Daniel didn't have an answer for that. The Sterling Global Enterprises building stood downtown, all glass and steel and money. Daniel had mopped floors in buildings like this, had emptied trash cans in lobbies where people wore suits that cost more than his monthly rent, but he'd never walked through the front door like he belonged. Wow! Emma pressed her face against the car window. It's so shiny. Yeah. Are we allowed to go inside? We're invited. What if they know we're poor? Daniel's hands tightened on the steering wheel. We're not poor, Em. Madison says poor is when you can't buy new stuff. We never buy new stuff. We buy what we need. Madison has 3 American Girl dolls. I have 0. Madison's daddy is a lawyer. What's your daddy? I'm a maintenance technician. The fancy name for janitor that nobody believed. Emma was quiet for a moment. Then she said, I think that's better than a lawyer. Why? Because you fix things. Lawyers just talk. Daniel smiled despite himself. Where'd you learn that? Mrs. Chen. She says lawyers charged her son too much money for talking. They parked in the visitor lot. Daniel checked his reflection in the rearview mirror. Same old shirt, same tired face, same everything that had made Sarah not show up. Daddy, you look handsome, Emma said like she could read his mind. Thanks, baby. Can I hold your hand inside? It's really big. The building. Everything. Daniel took Emma's hand and walked through the revolving door. The lobby stretched up 3 floors, all marble and chrome and abstract art that probably cost more than his car. A fountain in the center played music somehow. Emma's eyes went wide. It's singing. It's water, Em. Water that sings. A security guard approached. Young guy, maybe 25, with a name tag that said Marcus. Different Marcus. Can I help you? I'm Daniel Carter. I have an appointment with Victoria Sterling. The guard checked his tablet. ID, please. Daniel handed over his driver's license, acutely aware of how bent the edges were. The guard scanned it and handed it back. 15th floor. Ms. Sterling is expecting you. He gave Emma a visitor sticker shaped like a star. For you, little miss. Emma beamed. I'm a star. The elevator played soft jazz. Emma hummed along, swinging Daniel's hand. When the doors opened on the 15th floor, Victoria was waiting. She looked different than she had at the restaurant. Less severe somehow. She'd traded her suit jacket for a cardigan, her heels for flats. Her hair was down. Daniel, she smiled. Then looked at Emma. And you must be the famous Emma. Emma hid behind Daniel's leg. How do you know I'm famous? Your daddy told me about you. He did. He said you're the smartest 5-year-old in Boston. Emma peeked out. Did he say prettiest too? He didn't have to. I can see that for myself. Emma fully emerged, chin up. I like your sweater. I like your star sticker. Mom. The guard gave it to me because I'm important. Victoria laughed. Well, you are. Come on. I want to show you something. They followed Victoria down a hallway lined with photos. Company milestones. Product launches. Victoria shaking hands with people Daniel vaguely recognized from news clips. How big is your company? Emma asked. Pretty big. How big is pretty big? Emma, Daniel warned. It's okay. Victoria stopped at a door. We have about 3,000 employees across 12 countries. Emma's eyes widened. That's more than my whole school. Probably more than your whole neighborhood. Victoria opened the door. But we started small. This is where it began. The room wasn't what Daniel expected. No conference table, no sleek furniture. Just a large space with windows overlooking the city, and in the center a kitchen. An actual working kitchen with industrial appliances and a long counter covered in ingredients. You cook? Daniel asked. Not anymore, but I used to. Victoria walked to the counter. My mother was a lunch lady. Did you know that? Daniel shook his head. 30 years in public school cafeterias. She'd come home exhausted, smelling like industrial food and disappointment. But she'd still make dinner for us. Real dinner. Not the processed stuff she served at work. Victoria picked up a tomato. She used to say the worst part wasn't the low pay or the long hours. It was watching kids eat garbage and knowing their parents couldn't afford better. Emma tugged Daniel's hand. What's garbage food? Food that's not healthy, Victoria said. The kind that's cheap but makes you feel bad. Like gas station hot dogs. Daniel felt his face warm. They'd eaten gas station hot dogs twice last week. I love gas station hot dogs, Victoria said without missing a beat. Had one yesterday, but Emma's right. They're not healthy. That's what I'm trying to fix. She opened a refrigerator and pulled out several containers. Come here, both of you. Daniel and Emma approached the counter. Victoria opened the first container. This is a meal kit we're developing. Everything a family needs to make a healthy dinner. Pre-portioned ingredients, simple instructions, nutritionally balanced. She looked at Daniel. And it costs less than a gas station hot dog per serving. How? Daniel asked before he could stop himself. Bulk purchasing, direct relationships with farms, cutting out middlemen. The same way big corporations keep costs low, except we're passing the savings to families instead of shareholders. Victoria opened another container. This one's for kids specifically. Emma, what do you think? Emma peered inside. Pasta. Whole grain pasta with vegetables hidden in the sauce, designed by a pediatric nutritionist who has 3 picky eaters at home. Victoria smiled. She knows the struggle. Why are you showing us this? Daniel's voice came out quieter than he meant. Victoria closed the containers and turned to face him fully. Because tomorrow we're launching this at the workshop. 50 families are coming to learn about it. Nutritionists will teach them how to use it. We'll send them home with a week's worth of meals. Free. That's incredible. It's a start. But Daniel, I need something from you. Victoria leaned against the counter. I need you to speak. Daniel's stomach dropped. What? Tomorrow, at the workshop. I need you to tell your story. I don't have a story. Yes, you do. You're a single father working a demanding job, raising a daughter alone, trying to keep her fed and healthy on limited income. That's the exact story these families need to hear. No. Daniel shook his head. No way. I'm not standing in front of 50 people and what? Telling the truth. Being honest about struggle. Victoria's voice wasn't harsh, but it wasn't soft either. You think you're the only one who feels invisible. You think these families don't need to hear that someone like them, someone who gets it, thinks this program matters. Find someone else. I don't want someone else. I want you. Why? Because when you sat in that restaurant, you didn't make excuses. You didn't blame anyone. You just sat there with your dignity intact, even when you had every reason to fall apart. That's the kind of strength these families need to see. Emma pulled on Daniel's shirt. Daddy, what's she talking about? Daniel crouched down to Emma's level. Victoria wants me to talk to some people tomorrow. About what? About us. About how we eat and stuff. Emma tilted her head. Are you going to tell them about gas station hot dogs? Maybe. Tell them we only eat them on special days, Emma said seriously. So they don't think we eat them every day. Daniel's chest tightened. Okay, baby. He stood back up and met Victoria's eyes. I can't. Can't or won't? Both. Why? Because standing in front of people and admitting I can barely afford to feed my kid isn't exactly my idea of a good time. Daniel kept his voice low so Emma wouldn't hear the crack in it. Victoria was quiet for a moment. Then she said, Do you know why I started this company? To make money. To stop feeling helpless. Victoria walked to the window. I watched my mother break herself for a job that didn't care about her. Watched her come home crying because some kid told her the lunch she served tasted like dog food. Watched her die at 53 from stress and exhaustion and a lifetime of putting everyone else first. She turned back. I can't bring her back, but I can make sure other parents don't have to choose between feeding their kids and paying rent. I'm sorry about your mother. Don't be sorry. Be brave. Victoria crossed her arms. 3 minutes. That's all I'm asking. 3 minutes tomorrow to tell 50 families that they're not alone, that someone sees them, that someone's trying to help. Daniel looked at Emma, who was now exploring the kitchen opening drawers and gasping at the fancy utensils. What if I mess it up? Then you mess it up, but at least you tried. Victoria's voice softened. You sat in that restaurant and let yourself hope, Daniel, even when you knew it was probably pointless. That's not weakness. That's courage. That's stupidity. Same thing sometimes. Emma called from across the kitchen. Daddy, look. They have a spoon as big as my arm. Don't break anything, Em. I won't. I'm very careful. Victoria smiled. She's wonderful. She's the only thing I haven't screwed up. You haven't screwed anything up. I'm 34 working as a janitor, living paycheck to paycheck, raising a kid who thinks gas station hot dogs are special occasion food. I've screwed up plenty. You're 34, working an honest job, raising a daughter who's smart and kind and knows that love matters more than American Girl dolls. That's not screwing up. That's succeeding against terrible odds. Daniel didn't know what to say to that. Didn't know how to explain that every day felt like drowning. That he was so tired of being strong. That he just wanted one thing, one single thing to be easy. I'll think about it, he said finally. That's all I ask. Victoria checked her watch. Have you two eaten? We were gonna grab something after. Grab something here. Victoria headed for the door. I'll order dinner. What does Emma like? You don't have to. I'm not asking if I have to. I'm asking what she likes. Emma appeared at Daniel's elbow. I like chicken nuggets, the dinosaur kind. Done. Daniel. I'm fine with anything. That's not an answer. Surprise me. 20 minutes later, they sat at a small table in Victoria's office. Emma had dinosaur nuggets, apple slices, and chocolate milk. Daniel had some kind of gourmet sandwich he couldn't pronounce, but tasted incredible. Victoria had a salad she barely touched. Why don't you eat? Emma asked through a mouthful of nuggets. Emma manners, Daniel said. It's okay. Victoria smiled. I ate earlier, but I like watching people enjoy food. My mother was the same way. Is your mommy in heaven like my mommy? Daniel nearly choked on his sandwich. Em, you can't just... Yes, Victoria said simply. She is. Do you miss her? Every day. Me too. Emma dipped a nugget in ketchup. Sometimes I forget what she looks like. Is that bad? Victoria's expression softened. No, sweetheart. That's not bad. That's just what happens when we're little. Daddy has pictures, but pictures aren't the same as real. No, they're not. Emma was quiet for a moment, chewing thoughtfully. Then she said, Daddy says my mommy would have liked you. Daniel's hand froze halfway to his mouth. I never said that. You thought it. I saw your face. Emma turned to Victoria. He makes thinking faces. Victoria laughed. It was the first real laugh Daniel had heard from her. Not polite, not measured, just genuine. I make thinking faces too, Victoria said. What do they look like? Like this. Emma scrunched up her face. Except older. Emma, what you do. Victoria laughed harder. Daniel found himself smiling despite his embarrassment. After dinner, Victoria gave them a tour. She showed them the testing lab where products were developed, the packaging department where everything was checked for quality, the shipping area where orders went out. How many people does this feed? Daniel asked. Right now, about 10,000 families a month, but we're growing. Next year we want to hit 100,000. That's a lot of hot dogs prevented. Victoria said it serious, but her eyes smiled. Emma had been holding Daniel's hand the whole tour, but when they reached the main office floor, she suddenly let go and walked up to Victoria. Can I hold your hand instead? Daniel's heart stopped. Em, you can't just... It's okay. Victoria held out her hand. Emma took it without hesitation. They walked through the office like that, Victoria pointing out different departments, Emma asking 1,000 questions, Daniel following behind watching his daughter bond with a woman she'd met an hour ago. It should have bothered him, should have triggered every protective instinct he had, but instead it just felt right. When they reached the elevator, Emma hugged Victoria's leg. Thank you for the dinosaur nuggets. You're welcome. Thank you for being my friend. We're friends now. If you want to be. Yes. Emma looked up at Daniel. Daddy, we made a friend. I see that. In the elevator going down, Emma wouldn't stop talking. Did you see all the computers, and the big room with the food, and Victoria's shoes that matched her sweater? She's so pretty, Daddy, and nice, and she has a big spoon. She does have a big spoon. Do you think she's lonely? The question caught Daniel off guard. What? Victoria. She has a big office, but nobody was in it, just her. That seems lonely. Daniel thought about Victoria sitting alone at table 9, watching him fall apart, buying him soup. Maybe. We should invite her over. Emma said it like it was obvious. She's very busy. Busy people get lonely too. Mrs. Chen says her daughter is a doctor and she's always busy and always lonely. Mrs. Chen needs to stop sharing so much with you. She says I'm a good listener. In the car, Daniel's phone buzzed. A text from Victoria. Emma's right. I am lonely. And I'd love to come over sometime, if that's okay. Daniel stared at the message, then at Emma in the rearview mirror humming to herself and looking out the window. He typed back, "How did you hear that?" "We were in the elevator." "I gave Emma my number. She texted me. She's very persuasive." "She's 5. Exactly. Imagine how persuasive she'll be at 15. Despite everything, Daniel smiled. "Dinner tomorrow. After the workshop." "Are you asking me on a date, Daniel Carter?" His heart jumped. "I'm asking if you want to eat with us. There's a difference." "Is there?" "Yes." "What's the difference?" "I don't know yet." Daniel hit send before he could overthink it. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. "Tomorrow. After the workshop. After you give your speech." "I haven't agreed to." "You will. Because Emma will convince you. And you can't say no to her." She was right. Daniel couldn't say no to Emma. Which is why later that night, after Emma was asleep, he sat at his kitchen table and tried to write 3 minutes worth of words about his life. It was harder than he expected. Every sentence felt too personal, too raw, too much like admitting defeat. "I'm a single father struggling to make ends meet." Delete. "My daughter and I live paycheck to paycheck." Delete. "Sometimes I'm not sure we're going to make it." Delete, delete, delete. His phone buzzed. Victoria again. "Stop overthinking. Just tell them about the restaurant, about the $50, about Emma asking if you found her a princess. Tell them the truth. That's all anyone wants." "How do you know I'm overthinking?" "Because you've been typing and deleting for 47 minutes. I can see the read receipts." Daniel laughed despite himself. "Are you watching me write this?" "I'm encouraging you to write this. There's a difference." "You keep saying that." "Because it keeps being true. Now stop texting me and write something. Anything, even if it's terrible." Daniel set down his phone, picked up his pen, started writing. "My name is Daniel Carter. I'm a father. I'm a janitor. And last week I spent $50 I didn't have on a date with a woman who never showed up." He kept writing. About the restaurant, the soup, Victoria's words, Emma's questions, the gas station hot dogs, the electric bill, the constant crushing weight of trying to be enough. By midnight, he had 3 pages. Way more than 3 minutes. But it felt good to get it out. Felt like lancing a wound. His phone buzzed one more time. Victoria. "Sleep well, Daniel. Tomorrow's going to change things. Trust me." Daniel looked at those words for a long time. Then he wrote back, "I hope you're right." Because the truth was he was tired of things staying the same. Tired of being invisible. Tired of just surviving. Maybe it was time to start living, even if it scared him. Especially if it scared him. Saturday morning came with Emma jumping on his bed at 7. Is it today? Is it the talk day? Daniel groaned and pulled the pillow over his face. "It's too early, Em. You said we had to be there at noon. That's 5 hours. We need 5 hours to get ready. We need 30 minutes to get ready. But I need to pick my outfit and do my hair and practice my listening face." Emma pulled the pillow off him. "Mrs. Chen says listening faces are very important." Daniel sat up. His 3 pages of writing sat on the nightstand folded and refolded so many times the creases had gone soft. He'd read them 17 times before finally falling asleep at 2. Okay, I'm up." Emma clapped. "Can I wear my butterfly dress?" "It's October, baby. You'll freeze." "What if I wear my jacket over it?" "Then you'll look like a butterfly wearing a jacket." "Exactly." Emma ran out of the room. "That's the point." By 11:30, they were in the car. Emma, in her butterfly dress and winter jacket hair in 2 braids she'd insisted on doing herself. They looked crooked. Daniel didn't have the heart to fix them. "Are you nervous?" Emma asked. "A little." "Mrs. Chen says being nervous means you care. Mrs. Chen's very wise. She also says sometimes you have to do things even when you're scared, like when she had to get her tooth pulled. She was scared, but she did it anyway, and now she can eat apples again." Daniel glanced at her in the mirror. "When did she tell you that?" "Yesterday. She came over to bring us cookies while you were at work. She says you work too much." "She said that to you?" "She said it to the cookies, but I was there so I heard it." Emma swung her legs. "I think she's right. You're always tired, Daddy." "I'm okay, Em." "That's what you always say." They pulled into the Sterling Building parking lot. It was already half full. Families unloading from minivans and sedans, kids running around, parents looking both hopeful and exhausted in that universal way Daniel recognized immediately. "There's a lot of people." Emma's voice got smaller. "You nervous now?" "A little." "That means you care." Emma smiled. Mrs. Chen's smart. Inside, the lobby had been transformed. Tables everywhere with registration forms and name tags. Volunteers in sterling global shirts directing traffic. The fountain was still singing, but now there were balloons tied to it. Victoria appeared from somewhere wearing jeans and a sterling global shirt. Daniel had never seen her in jeans. She looked younger, more real. "You came." She said it like she'd been worried he wouldn't. "I came. Did you write something?" Daniel patted his pocket. 3 pages. "That's way more than 3 minutes. I got carried away." "Good. Passion is better than polish." Victoria crouched down to Emma's level. "Love the braids." "I did them myself." "I can tell. They're perfect." "They're crooked." "Perfect can be crooked." Victoria stood back up. "Registration is at table 3. After that, the main presentation is in the auditorium. You'll speak about halfway through. Then we break for the cooking demonstration and dinner." Daniel's stomach flipped. "Halfway through? Got it. You'll be great." "You keep saying that." "Because it keeps being true." Victoria touched his arm. Just briefly. Just enough to send electricity through his entire nervous system. "I need to go coordinate some things, but I'll be watching. Both of you." After she left, Emma tugged Daniel's sleeve. "She touched your arm." "I know. That means she likes you. Madison's big sister says when someone touches your arm, it means they like you. Madison's big sister is 12. So, she knows stuff." Emma pulled him toward registration. "Come on, we have to get our name tags." The volunteer at table 3 was an older woman with kind eyes and a name tag that said Dorothy. "Names, please." "Daniel and Emma Carter." Dorothy scanned her list. "Oh, you're the speaker. Ms. Sterling's been asking about you all morning." Daniel's face warmed. "Has she?" "Every 5 minutes." "Is Daniel here yet?" "Has Daniel checked in?" Dorothy handed them their name tags. "You must be pretty important." "I'm really not." "Well, she thinks you are. That's what matters." Dorothy winked at Emma. "And you must be the famous Emma." Emma beamed. "I'm famous twice now." They found seats in the auditorium, rows and rows of families, single parents with tired eyes, couples holding hands, kids squirming in chairs, everyone looking like they wanted to hope, but didn't quite remember how. The lights dimmed. Victoria walked onto the stage. No microphone, just her voice carrying across the room. "Thank you all for coming. I know Saturday mornings are precious. I know you probably have 1,000 other things to do. Laundry, errands, sleep." A few people laughed. "But you're here, and that tells me something. It tells me you care about feeding your families. You care about doing better. You care enough to show up." The room was silent. Everyone watching. "My mother was a lunch lady for 30 years. Every day she served food she knew wasn't good enough. Food that was cheap and fast and convenient but not nourishing. Not what kids deserved. And every night she came home and cooked real food for us. She was exhausted. She was underpaid. But she did it anyway because that's what parents do. They give everything they have. Victoria paused. Daniel saw her hands shake slightly. She died 5 years ago. Heart attack at 53. The doctor said it was stress. I say it was a system that made her choose between feeding strangers' kids and taking care of herself. Victoria's voice got stronger. I can't bring her back, but I can try to fix the system that broke her. That's why we're here. That's why Sterling Global created this program. She explained the meal kits, the nutrition, the cost, the goal of making healthy food accessible. People nodded. Some took notes. A few wiped their eyes. But I'm not the person you need to hear from. Not really. I'm someone who grew up poor but isn't anymore. Someone who remembers struggle but doesn't live it daily. So I've asked someone else to speak. Someone who's in the middle of it right now. Someone who knows exactly what you're facing. Victoria looked directly at Daniel. Daniel Carter, would you come up here, please? Daniel's legs moved before his brain caught up. Emma squeezed his hand. You got this, Daddy. Then he was walking. Down the aisle. Past 50 families. Up the steps. Onto the stage where Victoria stood waiting. She handed him a microphone, whispered, Just tell the truth, that's all. Then she stepped back, and Daniel was alone. He pulled out his 3 folded pages, unfolded them, stared at his handwriting. I'm not good at this. His voice came out shaky. Public speaking. I'm better at mopping floors. That's what I do. I'm a janitor at Boston General Hospital. Someone in the 3rd row nodded. Daniel focused on them. Last Saturday I went on a blind date. First one in almost a year. I wore my best shirt, ironed it 3 times, budgeted $50. That's what I could afford after rent and bills and my daughter's school stuff. He glanced at Emma. She was watching him with huge eyes. The woman never showed. She forgot about me. Or maybe she didn't forget. Maybe she just didn't think I was worth the drive. I sat there for 43 minutes, checked my phone 17 times, finally ordered the cheapest thing on the menu because I couldn't just sit there anymore without buying something. The room was completely quiet. Then I found out she was at a different bar, with her friends, posted it on Instagram while I was sitting there waiting, and I thought, Daniel's voice cracked. I thought, this is it. This is my life. Working a job where people don't see me, raising a daughter who deserves so much better, trying so hard and still coming up short. A woman in the 5th row was crying. Daniel kept going. Victoria bought me soup that night. A stranger who didn't know me, didn't owe me anything. She bought me soup and told me I wasn't invisible, and I wanted to believe her. God, I wanted to believe her. But it's hard when you're spending your last $50 on hope and getting nothing back. He folded his papers. He didn't need them anymore. My daughter Emma is 5. Last week she asked me why we never buy new stuff. She's 5 and she already knows we're different from other families. She already knows to be careful with her things because we can't replace them. She knows that sometimes dinner is gas station hot dogs because that's what we can afford that day. Daniel looked at Emma. She was still watching him. Not embarrassed, not ashamed, just watching. But you know what else she knows. She knows I love her. She knows I'm trying. She knows that even when things are hard, we're going to be okay because we have each other. Daniel's throat was tight. That's what parents do. We give everything we have. We skip meals so our kids don't have to. We wear old clothes so they can have new ones. We sacrifice everything and call it Tuesday. Several people were crying now. Even some of the volunteers. I don't have solutions. I don't have wisdom. I'm just a guy who's barely keeping his head above water most days. But Victoria asked me to speak because she thought you needed to hear from someone like you. Someone who gets it. Someone who's tired and scared and doing it anyway. Daniel looked at Victoria. She was crying too. This program she's created, it's not charity. It's acknowledgement. It's someone finally saying, I see you. I see how hard you're working. I see that you deserve better. And maybe that doesn't fix everything. Maybe we still go home to bills we can't pay, and jobs that don't appreciate us, and systems that weren't built for people like us. But at least we go home knowing someone cares. Someone's trying. Someone made soup for us when we needed it most. He handed the microphone back to Victoria. Started to walk off stage. Then Emma's voice cut through the silence. That's my daddy. The room erupted. People stood up, clapped. Some were still crying. A man in the back shouted, "Thank you." A woman near the front mouthed, "You're not alone." Daniel made it back to his seat. Emma threw her arms around him. "You were so good, Daddy, so good." "Was I?" "You made people cry. That means it was important." Victoria finished the presentation, talked about sign-ups and cooking demonstrations and taking home meal kits. But Daniel barely heard it. His heart was pounding. His hands were shaking. He'd just told 50 strangers his deepest shame, and somehow it felt like freedom. After families swarmed him, shook his hand, shared their stories. A single mom with 3 kids under 7. A dad whose wife left him with twins. A grandmother raising her grandson alone. Everyone had a version of the same story. Everyone was tired. Everyone was trying. "You spoke for all of us," the single mom said, tears on her face. "Thank you." Victoria found him an hour later. Emma was in the cooking demonstration with other kids learning to make healthy smoothies. "You okay?" Victoria asked. "I don't know. That was brave. Terrifying." "Same thing." Victoria smiled. "You were incredible, Daniel. Every person in that room felt seen because of you." "I just told the truth." "Exactly. Most people are too afraid to do that." She paused. "Dinner offer still stands, if you want." "Are you still asking if I'm asking?" "No, now I'm just asking." "Then yes." They picked up Emma after the smoothie class. She had purple stains around her mouth and enormous energy. "I made a smoothie. It had spinach in it, but you couldn't even taste it." "Can we make smoothies at home? Do we have a blender? Can Victoria come help us?" "Victoria's coming to dinner, remember?" Daniel said. Emma gasped. "Tonight." "If that's okay with you." "Yes, can we have the meal kit? The one with the hidden vegetables? Please, please, please." Victoria laughed. "I'll grab you one on the way out." They caravanned to Daniel's apartment. He tried not to think about what Victoria would see. The peeling wallpaper, the furniture from Goodwill, the water stain on the ceiling he couldn't afford to fix. But when they walked in, Victoria didn't look around with judgment. She just smiled and said, "It's cozy." "It's small." Cozy and small are different things. Emma gave her the full tour. "This is the living room where we watch movies. This is the kitchen where Daddy makes oatmeal. This is my room where I keep my stuffed animals. And this is Daddy's room, but we're not supposed to go in there because it's private." "Emma." Daniel's face burned. "What you said." Victoria was trying not to laugh. "Thank you for the tour, Emma. Very thorough." They cooked dinner together. Victoria read the instructions. Emma measured ingredients. Daniel chopped vegetables and tried not to think about how domestic this felt. How right. "Can you stay for movie night?" Emma asked while stirring the sauce. "Emma, Victoria's busy." "I'm not busy," Victoria said. "Really? Really? What movie?" "The Princess Bride." Emma didn't wait for confirmation, just assumed it was happening. After dinner, which Emma declared the best food ever in the whole world, they piled onto the couch. Emma wedged between them, already in pajamas, clutching her stuffed rabbit. The movie started. Emma provided commentary. "This is the good part. This is the funny part. This is the part where Daddy always cries, but he says he's not crying, he just has allergies." I don't cry at movies. You do. I see you. Victoria smiled. What part makes him cry? The end. When the princess realizes the farm boy loved her the whole time. Emma. It's true. You get all sniffly. Halfway through, Emma fell asleep. Her head on Victoria's shoulder, Rabbit clutched to her chest, breathing soft and even. Should I move her? Daniel whispered. No, she's fine. Victoria adjusted slightly, so Emma was more comfortable. She's wonderful, Daniel. You're doing an amazing job with her. Most days I feel like I'm failing. Most days all parents feel like that. But look at her. She's happy, confident, kind. You did that. Rachel did that. I'm just trying not to mess it up. Victoria was quiet for a moment. Then she said, Can I tell you something? Yeah. When I saw you at Marcello's sitting there alone, I almost didn't say anything. Almost let you have your private moment. But then I saw your face when you checked that Instagram story. You looked like I felt when my mother died, like the world had confirmed your worst fear about yourself. Daniel's throat tightened. What fear? That you're not enough, that you don't matter, that you're easy to forget. Victoria looked at him. And I couldn't let you sit there believing that, because it's not true. You matter, Daniel. You matter so much. You don't even know me. I know you spent your last $50 on hope. I know you wrote 3 pages at midnight because you wanted to help people. I know your daughter feels safe enough to fall asleep on a stranger because you've taught her the world can be good. I know enough. Daniel didn't know what to say. Didn't know how to explain that every word she said was cracking something open inside him, something he'd kept locked for 5 years. Why are you being so kind to me? Because kindness isn't something we're supposed to ration, Daniel. It's something we're supposed to waste on people. Spend it freely. Give it away constantly. My mother taught me that. And if I've learned anything since she died, it's that small acts of kindness are the only things that survive us. Soup. Soup. And showing up. And telling someone they're not invisible. Victoria brushed a strand of hair from Emma's face. And falling asleep on couches during The Princess Bride. They watched the rest of the movie in silence, Emma snoring softly between them. The apartment dark except for the TV glow. And for the first time in 5 years, Daniel felt something other than tired. He felt possible. When the credits rolled, Victoria carefully extricated herself from Emma. I should go. Let you put her to bed. Daniel picked up Emma. She stirred but didn't wake. Thank you. For today. For all of it. Thank you for being brave. Victoria grabbed her purse. Same time next week. What did ye? Dinner? Movie? Emma falling asleep halfway through. I liked it. Want to do it again. Daniel's heart hammered. Are you asking me on a date? I'm asking if you want to spend time with me. There's a difference. Is there? Yes. What's the difference? Victoria smiled. I don't know yet, but I'd like to find out. After she left, Daniel carried Emma to bed, tucked her in, kissed her forehead. Is Victoria the princess? Emma mumbled, half asleep. What? The one I asked you to find. Is it her? Daniel's chest tightened. I don't know, baby. I think it is. She has princess eyes. What are princess eyes? The kind that see you even when you're invisible. Emma yawned. Like Mommy's eyes. After Emma fell back asleep, Daniel sat on his bed and pulled out his phone, stared at it for 10 minutes before finally typing. Thank you for tonight. Emma thinks you have princess eyes. Victoria's response came immediately. Tell Emma thank you, and tell her father he has brave eyes. The kind that see possibility even in the middle of struggle. That's rare. Daniel read that message 5 times. Then he wrote back. Same time next week then. But it's my turn to cook. Deal. But I'm bringing dessert. What kind? The kind you can't get at gas stations. Daniel laughed out loud. Actually laughed. Then he set down his phone and lay back on his bed and stared at the water stain on his ceiling. For 5 years, that stain had felt like a monument to everything he couldn't fix. Every shortcoming, every failure, every way he came up short. But tonight, it just looked like a water stain. Nothing more. Nothing less. Just something that would get fixed eventually. When he had time. When he had money. When he had space to breathe. And for the first time in a long time, Daniel thought maybe that day wasn't as far away as it seemed. Maybe Victoria was right. Maybe he did matter. Maybe he wasn't invisible. Maybe all this time he'd been seen and just couldn't see himself clearly. His phone buzzed one more time. Victoria. Sleep well, Daniel Carter. The world's lucky to have you in it. Daniel held the phone to his chest and let himself believe it. Just for tonight. Just for now. The world was lucky to have him. Emma was lucky to have him. And maybe, just maybe, he was lucky too. Lucky that he walked into Marcello's with $50 and a broken heart. Lucky that a stranger bought him soup. Lucky that his daughter had crooked braids and princess wisdom. Lucky that brave and terrified felt exactly the same. Lucky that hope, even when it hurt, was still worth believing in. Daniel fell asleep with his phone in his hand and Victoria's words in his heart, and the smallest, most fragile belief that maybe finally things were about to change. Not because someone rescued him, but because someone saw him. And sometimes that's all the rescue anyone needs. The next week turned into the next month. Friday nights became their ritual. Daniel would cook. Victoria would bring dessert. Emma would fall asleep during whatever movie she'd insisted they watch. It was November now. Emma's birthday was coming. "What do you want this year?" Daniel asked her one morning over oatmeal. "A party." "We always have parties." "A real party, with friends from school, and cake, and decorations, and Victoria." Daniel's spoon paused halfway to his mouth. "Victoria comes to our Friday dinners." "But I want her at my party, the official one." Emma kicked her legs under the table. "Can she come? Please." "I'll ask her." "You'll ask, or you'll do. When did you get so pushy? Mrs. Chen says, women have to be pushy or nobody listens." Emma took another bite. "Is Victoria your girlfriend yet?" Daniel nearly choked. "What?" "Madison says when grown-ups have dinner every week they're dating, and dating means girlfriend-boyfriend. Madison needs to mind her business." "So she's not your girlfriend?" "It's complicated, Em." "That means yes, but you're scared to say it." Emma said it matter of fact. "It's okay to be scared, Daddy. Mrs. Chen says love is always a little bit scary." "We're not talking about love." "Why not?" "Because it's too soon." "How long is not too soon?" "I don't know, baby." "Then how do you know it's too soon now?" Emma finished her oatmeal and put her bowl in the sink. "You should tell her you like her. Boys are supposed to tell girls. That's what the movies say." After Daniel dropped Emma at school, he sat in his car for 10 minutes staring at his phone. Finally, he texted Victoria. "Emma wants to know if you'll come to her birthday party next Saturday." 3 dots appeared immediately. "I'd be honored. What does she want for her present?" "She hasn't said, but knowing Emma, probably something ridiculous like a unicorn." "I'll see what I can do about the unicorn." Daniel smiled. Then, before he could stop himself, he typed something else. "She also asked if you're my girlfriend." The 3 dots took longer this time. Disappeared. Reappeared. "What did you tell her?" "That it's complicated." "Is it?" Daniel's heart hammered. "I don't know. Is it? Do you want it to be?" "I don't know what I want." That was a lie. He knew exactly what he wanted. He just didn't know if he was allowed to want it. "That's okay. We don't have to label it. We can just be whatever we are." "What are we?" "2 people who like spending time together, who make each other laugh, who both love a 5-year-old with crooked braids and strong opinions." Victoria sent another message. "Is that enough for now?" Daniel read it 3 times. Yeah, that's enough. But that night, while Emma was asleep and Daniel was washing dishes, his phone rang. Not a text. An actual call. From a number he didn't recognize. Hello? Is this Daniel Carter? A woman's voice, professional. Yeah. Who's this? My name is Patricia Morris. I'm the director of the Medical Technician Training Program at Oregon Health Sciences University. I'm calling because you were referred to us by Boston General Hospital. They said you'd expressed interest in our accelerated certification program. Daniel's hand froze on the dish he was washing. What? The program is a 1-year intensive training. Upon completion, you'd be a certified medical technician with placement assistance. We're offering you a full scholarship pending your interview. I didn't apply for this. Your supervisor, Marcus Henderson, submitted your application. He included a recommendation letter from 3 different department heads. Quite impressive, actually. They all said the same thing, that you're reliable, hard-working, and wasted in your current position. Daniel set down the dish. Oregon. Yes, the program starts in January. I know that's soon, but we had a last-minute opening, and Mr. Henderson was very insistent we consider you. Would you be available for a phone interview next week? I have a daughter. We have family housing, subsidized childcare. The program is designed for people with dependents. We understand the challenges. Daniel's mind raced. Oregon. A real career. Actual money. Security. Everything he'd wanted for 5 years. But also Oregon. 2,000 miles from Boston. From the only home Emma had ever known. From Mrs. Chen. From Marcus. From Victoria. Can I think about it? Of course. But I'll need an answer by next Friday. The interview spots are filling up quickly. After she hung up, Daniel stood in his kitchen and stared at nothing. His hands were shaking. His chest felt tight. Oregon. He didn't tell Emma. Didn't tell Mrs. Chen. Didn't tell Marcus, who apparently had done this without asking. Didn't tell anyone for 3 days. But Friday came and Victoria knew immediately something was wrong. You're quiet. She said it after Emma had gone to bed. They were cleaning up dinner. Daniel washing, Victoria drying. The routine they'd fallen into. Just tired. Don't do that. Do what? Pretend you're fine when you're not. Victoria set down the dish towel. What happened? Daniel told her. About the call, the program, the scholarship, Oregon. All of it came tumbling out in one anxious rush. Victoria listened without interrupting. When he finished, she was quiet for a long moment. That's incredible, Daniel. It's Oregon. I know. That's 2,000 miles away. I know that too. I can't just leave. Emma has school here, friends, Mrs. Chen, you. His voice cracked on the last word. Victoria turned to face him fully. What do you want me to say? I don't know. Tell me it's crazy. Tell me I shouldn't go. Tell me... He stopped, couldn't finish. Tell you to stay for me. Victoria said it gently. Is that what you want? No, yes, I don't know. Daniel ran his hand through his hair. This is exactly what I've been working toward. A real career, better money, security for Emma, everything I wanted, and I got it. I finally got something, and it means leaving everything else behind. Not everything. You'd be taking Emma, taking your future, taking the chance to build something better. But I'd be leaving you, right when we're... whatever we are. Victoria smiled sadly. You can't build your life around someone you've known for 6 weeks, Daniel. Why not? Because that's not fair to either of us. You'll resent me eventually. For being the reason you didn't take the opportunity. I wouldn't. You would. Maybe not right away. Maybe not for years. But one day, you'd look at Emma and wonder what life would have been like if you'd been able to give her more. And you'd remember that you had the chance, and you gave it up for a woman you barely know. I know you. You know what I show you. There's a difference. Victoria picked up the dish towel again. You have to go, Daniel. Just like that. You're not going to fight for this. Fight for what? For you to stay in a city where you're struggling, where you're exhausted, where you're barely making it work. That's not love, Daniel. That's selfishness. So what is love then? Victoria's eyes filled with tears. Loving someone means not clipping their wings, even when you want to, even when it hurts, especially when it hurts. Daniel felt something break in his chest. I don't want to go. I know. But I have to. I know that too. Victoria wiped her eyes. When's the interview? Next Tuesday. Then let's not waste the time we have left talking about goodbyes. Let's just be here, right now, for however long we get. Emma's birthday party came that Saturday. 10 kids from school running around their tiny apartment. Streamers Victoria had brought. A cake shaped like a butterfly that probably cost more than Daniel's weekly grocery budget. Emma wearing her butterfly dress without the jacket, because inside it was warm and safe. Make a wish, the kids shouted. Emma closed her eyes, blew out the candles. When Daniel asked her later what she wished for, she just said, I can't tell you, or it won't come true. But that night, after everyone left, and Emma was in bed with her new stuffed unicorn, Victoria had somehow found. Emma called Daniel back to her room. Daddy. Yeah, baby. I wish that we could stay together, all three of us, forever. Daniel's throat closed. Em, I know you're thinking about leaving. I heard you on the phone. I heard you and Victoria talking. Emma hugged her unicorn. Are we going away? Maybe. There's a school in Oregon that wants me to learn to be a medical technician. It's a really good opportunity. Is Victoria coming? No, baby. She has to stay here for her company. But we'll come back. I don't know. Probably not for a while. Emma was quiet. Then she said, Will you still love her if we leave? The question hit him like a punch. Em, I never said I love her. But you do. I can tell. You make the same face at her that you make at me. The soft face. The one that means your heart is happy. Daniel sat on the edge of her bed. Did Mrs. Chen teach you that too? No, I just know. Because I love her too. Emma's voice got smaller. Does she love us back? I think so. In her way. Then why can't she come with us? Because her life is here. Her company, her work, everything she's built. But we're here too. Aren't we part of her life now? It's more complicated than that, baby. Grown-ups always say that when they don't want to explain. Emma turned over to face the wall. I don't want to leave, but if we have to go, I want to come back. Promise we'll come back. I promise we'll try. That's not a real promise. It's the only one I can make. The phone interview happened Tuesday. Daniel answered questions about his work history, his goals, his ability to handle intensive coursework while parenting. He must have said the right things because Wednesday morning they called back with acceptance. The program started January 10th. 6 weeks away. 6 weeks to pack up 5 years of life. To tell Emma's school she was leaving. To find someone to take over their apartment lease. To say goodbye to everything familiar. 6 weeks to figure out how to leave Victoria. They spent every night together after that. Not just Fridays. Every single night. Daniel would put Emma to bed, then Victoria would come over. They'd sit on his couch and watch bad TV and not talk about January. Tell me about Oregon, Victoria said one night. I've never been there. Tell me what you imagine. Mountains, I think. Rain. Different rain than here. The kind that feels clean instead of cold. Daniel shifted closer to her. A better apartment. Maybe with 2 bedrooms. Emma could have her own space. Her own room that isn't 5 feet from mine. What else? A job I'm proud of. Coming home tired but satisfied instead of tired and empty. Being able to buy her that winter coat without calculating if we can eat that week. That sounds good. It sounds lonely. Victoria rested her head on his shoulder. You won't be alone. You'll have Emma. You know what I mean. I know. She was quiet for a moment. Can I tell you something? Yeah. I'm glad you're going. Really, truly glad. Because you deserve every good thing waiting for you there. But I'm also completely devastated, and I'm trying really hard to be mature and selfless about this. But honestly, Daniel, I don't want you to go. Daniel turned to look at her. Then ask me to stay. I can't. Why not? Because if I ask, you might say yes. And then I'd spend the rest of my life knowing I held you back. What if you wouldn't be holding me back? What if you'd be giving me a reason to build something here? You can't build a life on 6 weeks and Friday dinners. That's not a foundation. That's just the beginning of something that didn't get time to become real. It feels real to me. It feels real to me too. But feelings aren't enough. Not for this. Not for uprooting your daughter's whole world. Victoria pulled away slightly. You have to go, and I have to let you. That's what love looks like sometimes. Letting go. You said love. I know what I said. Say it again. Daniel, say it, please. I need to hear it once before I leave. Victoria's eyes filled with tears. I love you. I love Emma. I love the way you make oatmeal special, and the way she falls asleep on my shoulder during movies, and the way you look at me like I'm not just a CEO, but a person. I love all of it. And I love you enough to want better for you than what Boston can give you right now. Daniel kissed her. Actually kissed her. First time in 6 weeks of Friday dinners and movie nights and almost moments. He kissed her and she kissed him back, and they both cried because it felt like hello and goodbye at the same time. When they pulled apart, Victoria whispered, "We have 6 more weeks. That's not enough time. So let's not waste it being sad about January. Let's just be here, now, for whatever time we get." They told Emma together the next day after school. We're going to Oregon in January, baby. Emma looked from Daniel to Victoria. Is Victoria coming? No, sweetheart. Victoria knelt down to Emma's level. I have to stay here. But we're going to stay in touch. Video calls, letters, pictures. You can tell me everything about Oregon. But you won't be there. No, I won't. Why not? Because my company is here. My work is here. And your daddy needs to go to school there. Sometimes people who love each other have to be in different places for a while. Emma's eyes filled with tears. How long is a while? Victoria looked at Daniel. He looked back helpless. A year. Victoria said finally. The program is 1 year. And then maybe you'll come back. Or maybe you'll stay there. But either way, I'll still love you. Both of you. That doesn't change just because you're far away. Will you forget about us? Never. Not even for a second. Victoria pulled Emma into a hug. You're stuck with me, kiddo. Distance or no distance. Promise? Promise. That night, Emma made Victoria pinky promise. Then she made a paper chain with 365 links. One for every day of the year. We'll tear one off every day, Emma explained. And when they're all gone, we can come back to Victoria. Daniel didn't have the heart to tell her that's not how it worked. That after a year, everything might be different. That Oregon might become home. That Victoria might move on. That life didn't pause just because you wanted it to. Instead, he just said, "That's a good idea, baby." Christmas came. Victoria bought Emma presents Daniel couldn't afford. Art supplies, books, a necklace with a butterfly pendant. So you can remember that butterflies travel far, but they always know where home is. Victoria fastened it around Emma's neck. Are you my home? Emma asked. Home is wherever the people who love you are. So yes, I'm one of your homes, and you're one of mine. For Daniel, Victoria gave an envelope. Inside was a check for $5,000. I can't accept this. Yes, you can. It's for moving expenses. deposits, getting Emma settled. Whatever you need. Victoria, this is too much. It's not nearly enough, but it's what I can give you right now. She folded his hand around the check. Let me do this. Please. Let me help. Daniel's vision blurred. I don't know how to thank you. Be happy. Succeed. Build the life you deserve. That's all the thanks I need. New Year's Eve. They didn't go to any parties. Just stayed in Daniel's apartment. Watched the ball drop on TV. Emma fell asleep at 11. Daniel carried her to bed. When he came back, Victoria was crying. 10 more days, she said. I know. I don't know how to do this. Me neither. They held each other until midnight. Kissed when the countdown ended. Whispered, Happy New Year, like it was both a celebration and a funeral. The last Friday night, Emma insisted they watch The Princess Bride again. She fell asleep during the fire swamp scene. Daniel carried her to bed, then came back to find Victoria packing up the leftover food. You don't have to clean up. I want to. One last time. They worked in silence, washing dishes, putting away leftovers, moving around each other in the tiny kitchen like they'd been doing it for years instead of weeks. I'm going to miss this, Victoria said finally. Me too. Promise me something. Anything. Promise me you won't look back. When you're in Oregon. When you're building your new life. Don't spend it wishing you were here. Be present for Emma. For yourself. For everything good that's coming. I'll try. And promise me if you meet someone there. Someone who makes you happy. You won't feel guilty. I want you to be happy, Daniel. Even if it's not with me. Victoria. Promise me. I promise. But only if you promise the same thing. Deal. She dried the last dish, set it in the cabinet, turned to face him. I should go. Don't. Not yet. Stay. Please. Just tonight. Victoria looked at him for a long moment. Then she nodded. They didn't sleep together, not like that, like, just curled up on his couch, holding each other, trying to memorize the feeling of being close, trying to store up enough warmth to last through the cold distance coming. At dawn, Victoria kissed his forehead, whispered, I love you, and left before Emma woke up. January 10th arrived like a death sentence. The movers came, loaded up their furniture. Daniel stood in the empty apartment and remembered 5 years of life, 5 years of Emma growing up, 5 years of survival, 5 years of hoping things would get better. And now they were. He was leaving for better, leaving everything behind for better. Mrs. Chen came to say goodbye, cried and hugged Emma, and pressed cookies into Daniel's hands. You call me, every week. I want to know how you're doing. I will. And you. She pointed at Emma. You be good for your daddy. Help him when he's sad. Why will Daddy be sad? Emma asked. Because leaving people you love is always sad, even when it's right. Marcus came too, shook Daniel's hand, slapped his back. You're gonna kill it, man. I'm proud of you. Why didn't you ask me before you submitted the application? Because you would have said no, and you deserved a chance to say yes. Marcus grinned. You can thank me later. Victoria was the last one. She arrived with a box. Don't open it until you get to Oregon. What is it? Something to remember me by, and something for Emma, and letters, one for every week of the year. Victoria's voice broke. I wrote them all last night, read them on Fridays, our day. Daniel couldn't speak, just pulled her into a hug and held on too tight. Emma came running. Victoria, are you coming with us? No, baby, just saying goodbye. But we'll see you again. Yes, I promise. When the paper chain is done. 365 days. 365 days. Emma threw her arms around Victoria's legs. I love you. I love you too, sweet girl. So much. Daniel loaded Emma into the car, buckled her in. She clutched her unicorn and the first link of her paper chain. Daddy, I don't want to go. I know, baby, but we have to. Will Victoria be okay without us? Daniel looked back at Victoria standing in the parking lot crying and waving. I don't know, Em. I hope so. They drove away. Emma watched through the back window until Victoria was just a speck. Then just a memory. Then just gone. Daddy. Yeah. When we come back, will everything be the same? Daniel's hands tightened on the steering wheel. I don't know, baby. Probably not. Will Victoria still love us? I think so. Real love doesn't go away just because people do. Is that true? I hope so, Em. I really hope so. They drove west into the sunrise, leaving Boston and everything familiar behind, heading toward Oregon and everything unknown ahead, carrying hope and fear in equal measure, holding on to the promise of 365 paper links and Friday letters and the impossible belief that sometimes love is strong enough to survive distance, even when it doesn't feel like it, even when it hurts, especially when it hurts. Oregon rain was different. Daniel noticed it the first week, softer somehow, like the sky was crying gently instead of attacking. Their apartment had 2 bedrooms. Emma got her own space for the first time in her life. She decorated it with drawings, and her unicorn and the paper chain stretched across one entire wall. 364 days left. She announced the second morning, tearing off a link. You're counting already. Every single day, Daddy. That's the promise. The program was harder than Daniel expected. Classes during the day, clinicals at night, homework that made his brain hurt. But for the first time in 5 years, he was using his mind instead of just his hands, building something instead of just maintaining. Emma started at a new school, cried the first week, made a friend the second week. By the third week, she came home chattering about a girl named Sophia, who had a pet hamster and wanted to be a veterinarian. Do you like it here? Daniel asked one night over dinner. Emma pushed her vegetables around. It's okay. Just okay. I miss Victoria, and Mrs. Chen, and my old room, even though it was small. Emma looked up at him. But I like having my own space, and Sophia's nice, and you seem happier. I am happier, but also sadder. You can be both, right? Yeah, baby, you can be both. Friday came. Daniel opened Victoria's first letter after Emma went to bed. Her handwriting was neat, controlled, but the words underneath were anything but. Dear Daniel, it's been 4 days and the apartment already feels too big. I keep making too much food. Keep forgetting you're not coming over. Keep reaching for my phone to text you something funny, Emma said, before remembering she's not here to say funny things anymore. I'm not good at this. At missing people. I usually just work harder until I forget to feel. But I can't forget you. Can't forget her. You're both stuck in my head and my heart, and I don't know how to function with this much space where you used to be. But I'm trying. I'm being brave. I'm letting you fly. Even though it's killing me. Love, V. Daniel read it 3 times. Then he wrote back. Dear V. Emma tore off her first paper chain link like it was a sacred ritual. 364 to go. She counts them every night before bed. I'm not sure what happens when we get to 0. I'm not sure what I want to happen. Oregon is good. The program is hard, but good. Emma's adjusting. I'm adjusting. But everything feels incomplete without you. Like I'm living someone else's life and just borrowing it for a while. I don't know if that feeling will fade or if I'll carry it for the whole year. Maybe longer. But thank you for the letter. For making Friday feel like Friday, even when we're 2,000 miles apart. Love, Daniel. The weeks blurred together. Classes, clinicals, homework, Emma's school events, soccer sign-ups, parent-teacher conferences where the teacher said Emma was bright but seemed distracted. She draws the same 3 people over and over. The teacher showed Daniel a stack of pictures, stick figures, a tall one, a medium one, a small one. Always together. Always holding hands. That's us, Daniel said quietly. Her family. The three of you, it's complicated. Every Friday, Daniel read Victoria's letter. Every Friday he wrote back. They video called on Sundays. Emma would talk for an hour straight about school and Sophia and the hamster and how Oregon rain was different. Victoria would listen like every word mattered, like Emma was the most important person in the world. I miss you, Emma said every single call. I miss you too, sweet girl. How many days left? 297. Victoria always knew the exact number. That's still so many. It'll go faster than you think. But it didn't. Every day felt long. Every week felt longer. By March, Emma stopped tearing off the paper chain links with excitement. Started doing it mechanically. Another day down. Another day closer. Another day that Victoria wasn't there. Daddy, what if she forgets about us? Emma asked one night. She won't. How do you know? Because I talk to her every week. She asks about you constantly. What you're learning. What you're drawing. If you still sleep with your unicorn. Do I? Every night, Em. Does she sleep with anything? Daniel thought about it. Realized he didn't know. Didn't know what Victoria's bedroom looked like. What she wore to sleep. What she did on Saturday mornings now that they weren't there. A whole life he wasn't part of anymore. I don't know, baby. Maybe you should ask her, in your next letter. So he did, and Victoria wrote back. I sleep with a t-shirt you left behind. The blue one with the coffee stain. You probably didn't even notice it was missing. But I took it that last night, and I've been wearing it every Friday since you left. It doesn't smell like you anymore. But I pretend it does. Is that pathetic? Don't answer that. I already know it is. But pathetic is all I have right now. Daniel's chest hurt reading it. He wrote back immediately. It's not pathetic. I sleep with a sweater you left at my place, the gray cardigan. Emma caught me once and asked why I was wearing girl clothes. I told her it was comfortable. She said I looked sad. Kids see everything. I miss you, not in an abstract way. In a very specific, very painful. My chest hurts when I think about you way. I don't know if that gets better. I don't know if I want it to. By May, Daniel was top of his class. His clinical supervisor said he had natural instincts, that he should consider specializing, that he had a real future in this. How does it feel? Victoria asked on their Sunday call. Emma was at Sophia's house, first time they'd talked alone in months. Surreal. Like I'm playing dress-up in someone else's life. It's your life now, Daniel. Doesn't feel like it yet. When will it? I don't know. Maybe when you're here too. Victoria was quiet. Then she said, Have you thought about what happens after when the program ends? Every day. And I don't know. They've already offered me a position at the hospital here. Good pay, benefits, everything I've wanted. But it's not Boston. It's not you. Daniel. I know. I know I can't build my life around you. You told me that already. But Emma asks about you every single day, and I think about you every single minute. And nothing here feels permanent because you're not here to make it real. I can't come to Oregon. I know. My company is here. My whole life is here. I know that too. Then what are we doing? What is this year for if you're just going to resent the distance? I don't resent it. I'm grateful for it. For the opportunity. For the growth. For everything good that's happened. But that doesn't mean I don't wish you were here to see it. Victoria's eyes filled with tears on the screen. I wish that too. Every day. But wishing doesn't change reality. What if we change the reality? How? I don't know yet, but we have 7 more months to figure it out. By August, Emma had stopped asking when they were going back. Started saying, when we lived in Boston, instead of when we go home. Started calling Oregon home. Daniel noticed. Didn't say anything. But it sat in his chest like a stone. The paper chain was half gone. 182 links left. "Are you excited to see Victoria?" Daniel asked one night. Emma shrugged. "I guess." "You guess." "It's been so long, Daddy. What if it's weird? What if we don't remember how to be together?" "Love doesn't forget, Em, even when people are apart." "How do you know?" "Because I still love her exactly the same as the day we left. Maybe more. Distance didn't change that." "Do you think she still loves us?" "I know she does." "How?" "Because she's still writing letters, still calling, still counting the days. You don't do that for people you've forgotten." In September, Daniel graduated top of his class. Emma wore her butterfly dress to the ceremony. They video called Victoria so she could watch. "I'm so proud of you," Victoria said, crying through the screen. "So incredibly proud. I couldn't have done it without you." "Yes, you could have. You just didn't have to." After the ceremony, the hospital made their offer official. Medical technician position. $58,000 a year, full benefits, starting immediately. Daniel held the contract and thought about $50. About sitting in a restaurant. About soup and paper chains and Friday letters. About how one night changed everything. "What are you going to do?" Emma asked. "What do you want me to do?" "I want to see Victoria. But I also like it here. Sophia's my best friend. And I like my school. And my room. And the rain." Emma twisted her unicorn's horn. "Is it bad that I don't want to leave?" Daniel's heart cracked open. "No, baby. That's not bad. That means we built something good here." "But Victoria's not here, so it can't be completely good." "No, it can't." That night, Daniel called Victoria. Not on Sunday. Not on schedule. Just called because he needed to hear her voice. "I got the job offer." "That's wonderful, Daniel. Congratulations." "They want an answer by next week." "What are you going to say?" "That depends on you." "Don't do that. Don't put this on me." "I'm not. I'm asking what you want. Really want. Not what you think is best or right or selfless. What do you want?" Victoria was quiet for so long, Daniel thought she'd hung up. Then she said, "I want you to come home. I want Emma back. I want Friday dinners and movie nights and crooked braids. I want to stop sleeping in your old t-shirt and start sleeping next to you. I want to stop counting days and start living them. That's what I want. But it doesn't matter what I want if Oregon is better for you." "What if I told you Oregon isn't better? What if I told you nothing feels right without you?" "Then I'd say you're probably making a mistake. That you're letting emotion override logic. That in 5 years, you'll regret choosing me over your career." "And what if you're wrong? What if the biggest mistake would be staying here when everything I love is there?" "Daniel, the job here pays $58,000. That's more money than I've ever seen. More stability than I've ever had. And I'm going to turn it down. You can't do that." "I already did, this afternoon, before I called you." Victoria's voice broke. "Why would you do that?" "Because Emma draws the same 3 people every single day. Because I read your letters, and my chest physically hurts. Because home isn't a place. It's people. And my people are in Boston." "What if you can't find a job here? What if you come back and everything falls apart?" "Then at least we'll fall apart together." "That's not practical." "I don't care. I'm done being practical. I'm done with distance and letters and screen calls. I'm done with good enough when I could have everything." Victoria was crying now. "When our lease ends November 1st, that's 6 weeks." The paper chain. 42 links left. Emma's been counting down to this for almost a year. I'm not going to make her wait any longer. We're coming home, Victoria, if you'll have us. If I'll have you, Daniel. I've been waiting for this moment since you left. I've been holding my breath for 323 days, hoping you'd come back. Then stop holding your breath. We're coming home. The next 6 weeks were chaos. Packing, saying goodbye to Sophia and her hamster. Emma's tears about leaving her friend mixed with excitement about seeing Victoria. Finding an apartment in Boston. Finding a job. Marcus calling everyone he knew until someone bit. A position at Mass General. 52,000. Benefits. Starting December 1st. Less money than Oregon. Harder work. Smaller apartment. But Boston. Home. Victoria. Emma tore off the last paper chain link on October 31st. Tomorrow we see her. Tomorrow we see her. Daddy, I'm scared. Why? What if it's different? What if we're different? Then we figure it out together. That's what love is. Figuring it out. They drove across the country in 3 days. Emma slept most of the way, clutching her unicorn. Daniel drove and thought about the last time he'd made this drive in reverse. How scared he'd been. How uncertain. How everything felt like ending. Now it felt like beginning. They arrived in Boston on November 1st at 6 in the evening. Daniel texted Victoria. "We're here. Are you ready?" "I've been ready for 365 days. Meet us at Marcello's, table 12, 7 o'clock. "Why there?" "Because that's where everything started. Seems right that it's where we start again." Daniel Carter. "Are you taking me on a date?" "I'm taking you on a promise. There's a difference." "What's the difference?" "You'll see." At 6:50, Daniel and Emma walked into Marcello's. The hostess recognized him somehow. "Mr. Carter, Ms. Sterling made a reservation, table 12. She said to tell you she'd be here at 7 exactly." They sat down. The same table. The same view of the door. But this time, Emma was with him. This time he wasn't waiting alone. This time everything was different. "I'm nervous," Emma said. "Me too." What if she changed her mind? She won't. How do you know? Because she's Victoria, and Victoria always keeps her promises. At 7, exactly, the door opened. Victoria walked in wearing jeans and the gray cardigan Daniel had been sleeping with. Her hair was down. Her eyes were red like she'd been crying. She saw them and stopped. Emma jumped out of her seat and ran. Actually ran across the restaurant. Victoria knelt down just in time to catch her. "You came back." Victoria was crying. "You actually came back." "I told you I would." 365 days. We counted every single one. I counted too, sweet girl. Every single one. Daniel walked over. Stood there watching his daughter and the woman he loved hold each other like they'd never let go. Victoria looked up at him. "Hi." "Hi." "You came back." "We came home. There's a difference." "What's the difference?" "Coming back is visiting. Coming home is staying." Daniel held out his hand. "If you'll have us." Victoria took his hand. Let him pull her up. Emma stayed attached to her leg. "I'll have you. For as long as you'll let me." "What about forever? Is that long enough?" "Forever's a good start." They sat down at table 12. The three of them. Ordered too much food. Emma talked non-stop about Oregon and Sophia and hamsters and paper chains. Victoria listened like every word was precious. Daniel just watched them and felt something he hadn't felt in a year. Complete. When the food came, Emma pulled out a folded piece of paper from her pocket. "I made this for you." She handed it to Victoria. "Open it." Victoria unfolded it carefully. It was a drawing. 3 stick figures under a roof. A tall one, a medium one, a small one, all holding hands. Above it, Emma had written in careful letters, "Daddy, Mommy, and me, forever." Victoria's hands shook. "Emma, you're our family now. That's what Daddy says. That family is the people who love you even when you're far away, even when it's hard, even when it hurts." Emma looked between them. "So you're our family. If you want to be. Victoria looked at Daniel. He nodded. I want to be. Victoria whispered. More than anything. Good. Because we already bought an apartment with 3 bedrooms. One for me, one for Daddy, and one for you. For when you want to stay over, which I hope is every night because I missed you so much. Emma said it all in one breath. Victoria laughed through her tears. Every night sounds perfect. After dinner, they walked outside. Emma ran ahead, chasing leaves. Victoria slipped her hand into Daniel's. Did you really buy a 3-bedroom apartment? Emma insisted. Said families need space to grow. She's wise beyond her years. She gets it from Mrs. Chen. Daniel stopped walking, turned to face Victoria fully. I know this is fast. I know we only had 6 weeks before I left. I know most people would say we're crazy. But this year taught me something. What? That time doesn't measure love. Presence does. And you've been present every single day, even from 2,000 miles away. You wrote letters. You called. You counted days with us. You loved us when it would have been easier to move on. That's not something I take lightly. What are you saying, Daniel? I'm saying I don't want to date you. I don't want to ease into this. I want all of it. The mess and the complications and the 3-bedroom apartment and the girl with butterfly wisdom and the Friday dinners that turn into every dinner. I want you, completely, if you want me back. Victoria's eyes filled with tears again. I want you back. I never stopped wanting you. Good. Daniel pulled out a small box from his pocket. Because I bought something in Oregon, with the first paycheck for my new job, and I've been carrying it around for 6 weeks waiting for the right moment. And this feels right. Here, where everything started, where you bought me soup and made me feel human again. He opened the box. A simple ring. Nothing fancy, but real. Victoria Sterling, will you marry me? Victoria stared at the ring, then at him, then at Emma, who was watching from 10 feet away with huge eyes. Say yes, Emma shouted. Say yes, say yes, say yes. Victoria laughed and cried at the same time. Yes, of course yes. 1,000 times yes. Daniel slid the ring on her finger. Emma came running. They hugged in the middle of the sidewalk, the 3 of them a family built from $50 and soup and paper chains and Friday letters and the impossible belief that love could survive anything, even distance, even fear, even the logical voice that said it was too fast, too soon, too much. Because sometimes too fast is exactly the right speed. Sometimes too soon is actually perfect timing. Sometimes too much is just enough. Emma pulled back and looked at them both seriously. Now we have to go back to the restaurant. Why? Daniel asked. Because that's where you met. That's where Victoria bought you soup. That's where our family started. We have to go back and start again properly, with all 3 of us. So they did. Walked back into Marcello's. Asked for table 12 again. Sat down together. Victoria on one side. Daniel and Emma on the other. The waiter came over smiling. Back again already? One more thing, Daniel said. 3 bowls of minestrone soup, the good kind, the kind that changes lives. The waiter laughed, but brought the soup. They ate it slowly, savoring it. Emma declared it the best soup in the whole world, even though it's just soup. It's not just soup, Victoria said. It's the soup that saved your daddy. That brought us together. That started everything. Then it's magic soup, Emma decided. Like in fairy tales. Exactly like fairy tales, Daniel agreed. Except better, because this is real. When they finally left the restaurant for the second time that night, Emma was yawning. Daniel carried her to the car. She rested her head on his shoulder. Daddy? Yeah, baby. Are we happy now? Daniel looked at Victoria walking beside them, her hand in his, her ring catching the streetlights, her smile real and unguarded. Yeah, Em. We're happy now. Good, Because I was getting tired of waiting. They drove to their new apartment, unpacked boxes while Emma fell asleep on the couch. Victoria made coffee. Daniel found Emma's drawing and pinned it to the refrigerator. 3 stick figures, 1 roof, forever. A year ago, he'd sat in a restaurant with $50 and no hope. Tonight, he had everything: a career, a daughter, a woman who loved them both, a future that looked nothing like what he'd planned, but everything like what he'd needed. "Thank you," he said to Victoria. "For what? For buying me soup, for seeing me when I was invisible, for writing 365 letters, for waiting, for not giving up, for loving us even when we were impossible to love." "You were never impossible to love. You were just convinced you were. There's a difference. You keep saying that, because it keeps being true." Victoria walked over and wrapped her arms around him. "And for the record, you saved me too. I was so busy building a company, I forgot to build a life. Then you walked in with your $50 and your broken heart and reminded me what actually matters. What matters? This. Us. Soup and paper chains and crooked braids. Friday letters and Sunday calls. The everyday ordinary magic of loving people and being loved back." She kissed him softly. "That's what matters. Everything else is just noise." Emma stirred on the couch, mumbled something about butterflies. Daniel covered her with a blanket. "Should we move her to her bed?" "In a minute," Victoria said. "I just want to look at this for a second." "Look at what?" "All of it. You, her, this apartment with 3 bedrooms, the life we're about to build. I want to remember this moment, this exact moment when everything became real." Daniel pulled her closer. They stood there in the kitchen of their new apartment holding each other, watching Emma sleep and feeling the weight of 365 days lift off their shoulders. The hard part was over. The distance, the waiting, the uncertainty. Now came the good part. The building, the growing, the everyday choice to love each other through mess and complicated and whatever came next. "Welcome home," Daniel whispered. "I've been home since the moment you walked into my life," Victoria whispered back. "This is just where we keep our stuff." Emma woke up enough to be carried to her new room. She looked around sleepily. "Is Victoria staying?" "Yeah, baby. Victoria's staying. Forever. Forever." "Good. I'm tired of goodbyes." Emma yawned and snuggled into her pillow. "Night, Daddy. Night, Victoria. Night, new house. Night forever. Night, baby." After Emma was asleep, Daniel and Victoria sat on their new couch, in their new living room, in their new life, and didn't say anything. Just held hands. Just breathed. Just existed in the same space after 365 days of existing in different ones. "I can't believe you came back," Victoria said finally. "I can't believe you waited. Where else would I go?" "Anywhere. You could have gone anywhere, met anyone, built anything. You didn't have to wait for us." "Yes, I did, because some people are worth waiting for. Some love is worth the distance. Some stories don't make sense until they're finished." Victoria squeezed his hand. "And ours isn't finished yet. We're just getting started." And she was right. This wasn't an ending. It was a beginning. The beginning of everything they'd been building toward. The beginning of the life that started with $50 and a broken heart and a stranger who bought soup. The beginning of forever. And forever started now.